following audio may contain adult language and themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to History and Mystery in Kansas City, the history podcast about all things unsolved and unexplained in Kansas City and the surrounding areas. I'm Laura.
And I'm Shannon.
And today I wanted to talk about the Cape Girardeau UFO crash.
Oh, I didn't realize we had a UFO crash around here.
Yeah.
Nice.
So when most people think about UFO crashes, they always think about Roswell, New Mexico.
Of course.
That's like the first one that really became popular. And that was in 1947. But something similar happened 6 years earlier in the Bootheel of Missouri.
Oh.
So this story involves a Baptist minister, a crashed silver disc, strange bodies, missing photographs, and a mystery that remains unsolved for more than 80 years.
So it's still not solved?
Yes.
Oh, wait, you said unsolved.
Yeah, it's, if there was evidence, it has magically disappeared.
What?
Okay.
So.
So to understand this story, we have to travel back in time to April of 1941. And World War II was still 8 months away, so I guess maybe the military could have already been testing different kinds of aircraft and who knows what at that time.
Makes sense.
Franklin Roosevelt was president. Television was still a novelty, and most Americans got their news from newspapers and radio broadcasts.
Lame. Just kidding.
The idea of flying saucers didn't even exist yet, and the term wouldn't enter the public vocabulary until late June of 1947, after pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing strange objects near Mount Rainier, describing the objects' movements like a saucer skipping across water. And ever since then, the newspapers were like, flying saucers.
Yeah, I always wondered, why. I guess that's just, what people could be like, it's the shape of a saucer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like a frisbee?
When I think of saucer, I think of plate.
Yeah,
and
me too.
To me, that doesn't really look like a plate.
It's like two plates.
Yeah, two plates together.
Yeah. Flying saucers,
Yeah.
if you will.
If the Cape Girardeau story is true, the witnesses weren't influenced by the Kenneth Arnold sighting, Roswell, science fiction movies, or decades of UFO culture, because this happened way before that. So that's one reason why this has attracted so many UFO researchers, because there wasn't movies to influence it, and there wasn't Roswell to influence it. It was just something that happened way before all that. So according to the story, the central figure in this story is called Reverend William G. Huffman, and he was a local Baptist minister. And late one evening, April of 1941, he received an urgent request, and authorities asked him to come basically give the last rites to victims at this crash scene in Cape Girardeau.
Ugh, worst job ever.
That would be the worst job ever. Huffman got into his vehicle and headed to the countryside, expecting to find a tragic airplane accident, because that's kind of what they led him to believe.
Oh, when you said crash, I did not think airplane.
Yeah. He's thinking airplane or vehicle maybe, I don't know, but when he got to the scene, it was something completely crazy, and it was not anything close to what he was expecting to see. So the crash reportedly occurred somewhere between Cape Girardeau and the nearby town of Chaffee. Chaffee. I've never even heard of that, so I don't know if I'm saying that right.
No.
Witnesses later described a field scorched by fire.
Oh.
Pieces of metallic debris were scattered across the ground, but there was no airplane, no wings, no propeller, no recognizable aircraft.
Oh.
Instead, Huffman allegedly found a circular metallic craft. Some witnesses would later describe it as a silver disc.
Gosh, I wonder how big it was.
I don't know.
I feel like you wouldn't even really recognize that it was a saucer if it was huge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe as he's driving there, he can see more of it.
Maybe.
I don't know. According to the story, a section of the craft had been torn open, exposing the interior. Inside were strange instruments, unfamiliar symbols, and technology Huffman could not identify.
Oh, spooky.
Then came the part of the story that would make Cape Girardeau famous. According to accounts passed through Huffman's family, down through the generations, there were 3 small bodies near the wreckage.
Excuse me.
They were described as non-human people.
What does that mean?
That's like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
And he described the bodies as hairless with large heads, big eyes, small mouths, and very small ears. The Reverend Huffman said the dead individuals were about 4 feet tall and seemed to have no hard bone structure, but very long arms and fingers.
Oh, well, I mean,
It was like Squidward.
yeah. You're just describing our basic gray alien that we know and love today.
But I've never imagined them as being without bones.
I know. Well, I mean,
That's
they do
kinda
look rather
weird.
squishy, I guess. But are we sure this is not like burn victims, like from the crash or something?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Did they say what color they were? Were they clothed?
He called them gray.
Okay.
But their heads were unusually large and their eyes were oversized as well. And researchers would later note that the description closely resembled what modern UFO enthusiasts call gray aliens. 2 of the beings were reportedly already dead, and the third may have still been alive when Huffman arrived.
Oh, really?
And so the minister knelt down beside the dying creature and prayed over it. And when he was finished, he was sworn to secrecy by the military personnel who had taken over the scene.
Oh, okay, when did they get there? Jeez.
I don't know. I feel like they were already there because I think they're the ones that called him out.
To do the last rites for unidentified beings? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You'd think that they'd have, like, if they wanted to do that, that they'd have their own, like, priest, on the team.
Yeah.
I just imagine the alien just... Ouch.
It says authorities called him, so maybe it was the local police, and then while they're there, they're like, this is not normal, let's call the military?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So he had to sign an NDA.
Yes, basically. So, Huffman was told, quote, "This didn't happen, you didn't see this, this is national security and is to never be talked about again." If true, this would be one of the earliest alleged encounters with extraterrestrial beings in American history. So supposedly there was a photograph. That is one of the most intriguing parts of this story because according to Huffman's granddaughter, Charlotte Mann, they had a photograph that the military did not get their hands on.
Oh.
And it was supposedly taken by Southeast Missourian photographer at the time, Garland D. Frauenbarger.
Nice.
The whereabouts of this photograph is unknown, however.
Of course.
There have been several drawings by Mann also who tries to imitate the photograph as best as she could because she's the one that saw it firsthand before it went missing.
Dang it.
The photograph allegedly showed 2 men holding up a small humanoid body.
What?
Unfortunately, the photograph has never been publicly produced. No verified copy has ever surfaced. So that's like the one piece of evidence that could prove this whole story, kind
Man.
of. So according to the story, the situation changed quickly. The military personnel allegedly arrived from nearby Sykeston Army Airfield. The crash site was secured. So yeah, apparently it was probably the local authorities first, and then the Army arrived shortly after. And I don't know how they learned about it, but witnesses were told not to discuss what they had seen. Photographs were confiscated. Wreckage magically disappeared. Bodies magically disappeared. And everything was buried beneath a blanket of secrecy.
I hate that. We want to know. We have the right to know.
Yeah. So the reason that researchers find this interesting is because of when it happened, because it happened 6 years before Roswell. And that was when the modern UFO era kind of began, and that's when, all the movies started and the newspapers and all the sightings started. And there is a book, author Paul Blake Smith wrote The Bombshell Before Roswell. I haven't read that, but I kind of want to get it and read that.
Yeah.
He did a lot of research into it. But because there are no photographs, no military paperwork, only basically someone who got passed down the story through a couple generations, that's the only really word that we have to go by. So there's really not any evidence, and so it kind of makes it a weak story, but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, how would it come to be if it was so far before Roswell, and who would just make that up? I don't know.
I mean, if I know one thing about aliens, they love a good cow. So,
there's a lot of that in southeast Missouri or whatever.
Exactly. So, why wouldn't they crash there?
Yeah. According to the UFO casebook files, the Red Star Baptist Church records corroborate Huffman's employment during that time period. So he did work as a minister at that church. Also, fire departments and police records show an occurrence the day of the crash that confirm that the military came and removed evidence from the scene. We just don't know what they removed. So maybe there was a crash, but maybe it wasn't a UFO and it was some kind of military experiment or whatever going on.
Okay, so to my understanding, the Reverend never broke his word and talked about this, except for to maybe his family.
Yeah.
And the granddaughter is the one that brought it to the public.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I was looking into, like, the Hollywood influences, and the first thing that I saw was a UFO movie. The first one I could find came out in 1949. So, a lot of things that we see today can be influenced by movies and news and podcasts and whatever. Like, you're watching a movie about Bigfoot, and then 2 days later you think you see Bigfoot in the woods.
Of course.
But this happened way before the first UFO movie came out, so that I could find anyway. Unless I'm wrong, then let me know.
I don't know.
More than 80 years later, somewhere between history and folklore, the mystery remains. Did a flying saucer crash in a Missouri field 6 years before Roswell? Or was this story just a legend built from memories, rumors, and wishful thinking?
Well, I think it definitely happened.
Yeah, I kind of think it did too, just because, like I said, who would make that up?
I don't know.
Without having...
Here's the thing. It does scare me a little bit that the granddaughter brought things forward, because I just listen to so many podcasts and stuff about people lying for attention.
Mm-hmm.
It literally happened to me in my life recently. This girl told me that she was, like, dying of a heart disease, and, like, I just found out that was, like, all a lie.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It's like, I felt so bad for you. Like, so people do crazy stuff
That's
for
true.
attention.
Yeah.
And, man, that would be a good one back then.
Yeah.
But
is that something that people would even be thinking about back then? Would they be so open-minded to think that there were... I don't know.
I don't know either. Or was this guy, like... I wonder if he told his family, like, immediately, or if he was, like, super old and was just like, saw an alien.
I feel like I read, and I don't know why I didn't include this, but I feel like I read it was on his deathbed.
Oh.
Which...
Was he delusional?
Yeah. But that made me feel like this is more believable, because he had to get it off of his chest.
Maybe. I wish he had, like, a diary or something from back then.
I wish we had the photograph.
Yes. And what, did they only take one? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would take 1,000,000.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting, and it had to do with Missouri, so I was like, oh, that's kind of
Yeah.
crazy that something happened this close. And I've never heard about it until I started researching it, so.
No, me either. But
Yeah.
if you live in the boot, please tell us how many aliens you've seen.
Yeah, or if you've heard any rumors about this particular story or
Yeah.
anything.
I don't suppose that place, like, markets it, like... Have you ever been to Roswell?
No.
Everything is alien. Everything.
Yeah.
Like, they're just, like, all about it.
There's a place, I think it's Piedmont, Missouri, that's supposedly the UFO capital of Missouri or something.
Oh.
And it's like super alien stuff everywhere.
That's fun. I love that.
I know. And it's in Missouri, so we should go.
Yeah, it would be fun. That's cool.
So if you have any stories about UFOs in Missouri or Kansas or anywhere close, hit us up at historyandmysterykcpod@gmail.com.
How did you get probed?
Let us know. Was it uncomfortable or?
Jeez, did they keep you awake?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really interesting. I keep an open mind. I don't necessarily believe every UFO story, but there's some stuff out there that we just don't understand. So if you came out and told us a story like that,
Yeah.
I would believe it.
Probably. Have you ever seen the movie Fire in the Sky?
No.
It's based off of a true story of a guy that, like, has an abduction story. His story's crazy.
Ooh.
Like, it is so hard not to believe.
Oh shit. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, and the movie's pretty creepy, too.
Okay. Yeah, or if you have any other story suggestions, email us and visit our Patreon and our YouTubes. And in the meantime, stay aware, alert, and alive.
Or else.
Kansas City sleeps. A shadow stirs. The air grows cold.